Hey, how's it going, everyone? So, a lot of people have been asking me, is this a good time to open a business in 2025? Especially there's a lot of people who are trying to open a coffee shop or a small restaurant or a bubble tea shop. Those kind of business, it's easier to start, but still it's costs a lot of money upfront. I just want to introduce a little bit about myself. I had 3 years of experience opening a bubble tea shop in Midwest of United States. So I started businesses in early 2021, and that was when I first had the idea of open a bubble tea shop. And after 3, 4 months of preparations, and I was able to get the business started. I was lucky because I found a location where it used to be a frozen yogurt shop, and the previous owner they quit and they closed the business because of the COVID, and so they left a whole bunch of stuff inside of the store. So I was fortunate to take advantage of it. I don't have to do all the remodel, and because when you do the remodel, you have to do the restaurant code, and that costs a lot of money, and you have to schedule inspections, everything. For me, the location is perfect. Everything's set up, and my the inspection for me was super easy and quick. It came and they take a look and they just asked me a few questions, and nothing changed, and then it was passed right away. So I was lucky to be able to start the business as soon as I can. It was within like 3, 4 months. Still took me 3, 4 months because that was my literally first time opening a I would call restaurant or a bubble tea shop, whatever you call. So the first year I did great. Second year was kind of slowed down a little bit, and I still thinking the reason why the business went down is because that the lack of the fund. Because for me, I was just a small family business. However, for a restaurant, it requires a lot of cash flow and liquid cash to save there to for business use. Until today, I still think that when you open a bubble shop or a restaurant, you don't see that you become rich overnight. There's no way you become rich overnight because this kind of business requires a lot of cash to start with and to operate with. For example, you need cash to get inventory. If you don't have inventory, what are you gonna sell, right? So you need place truck order every single week, maybe 1 or 2 times a week, right? For me as a bubble shop, I need to place a truck order every couple weeks, which is not bad. When I used to work at a very busy restaurant as a general manager, we place truck order 2 or 3 times a week. That's a lot of money just by purchasing inventory. That's like 15 grand over there. So, but for me as a small family business like a bubble tea shop, I every time for the truck order was around $1,500, which is not bad at all. But also you can tell we're not super busy, and that $1,500 around that price still it was huge because the sales of the whole week it was around like 25, 30 thousand dollars, which is still pretty good. I make pretty good money just by selling bubble tea. Plus we have frozen yogurt as well. Um, that kind of helps a lot. Still minus that inventory cost, and we have the labor cost. That's another big part. So I learned a lot from the labor costs. For me, I hired some minors and also some high school, college kids. When they first start, I gave them $10 per hour, and then once they learn everything, I give them $13 per hour. And if they're able to handle the store by themselves, be like a manager role, then I give them $15 per hour, which is pretty good pay compared with all other small family business. I had very good employees, and but I would say that still, when you open that kind of business, all your employees, they're gonna be high school kids. They're gonna be young kids, and sometimes they make huge mistakes. Sometimes they creating dramas and all that, whatever the young people do, right? So this kind of business, you just have to deal with it. I'm in my 30s, so whatever they do, I know exactly what they're trying to do. I know exactly what are they thinking. So that's kind of another thing is kind of really kind of give me a lesson to learn because when in your 30s and 40s and you have to deal with the kids every single day, it's a pain in the ass, I would say. But still, I survived. So I was able to manage 5 employees at the same time. So I managed pretty well. They all can do their own job and handle everything by themselves. So that kind of saved my labor's cost as well because one person can handle everything. That's my goal. So it really saved a lot of time and energy. But whenever I hire a new employee, that's really painful because you have to pay the new employee for training. And for example, you only need one person per day, but you have to have the training with you, so you're gonna pay double for about 2 or 3 weeks. So that's another cost as well. I would say after 2 years, my business was kind of more stable because we have a lot of local guests that they come here pretty much every single day or at least 2 or 3 times a week. So they're pretty consistent. So that kind of gave us the consistent money comes in. But I had my first kids in 2021 when I first opened the shop, and I didn't feel any stress or anything. But as the second year, I started feeling that kind of stress because with the kids, and my wife worked full time as well, so that was kind of really stressful. That to balance family and the business. Plus, the most important thing is the business is not really drive a lot of revenues because from the paper reports that we do make a lot of sales every week, but the money can go into my pocket, not a lot, because I still have to invest into the business every single week for the inventory, for the labor costs, for the tax, for these, these, a lot of things. You never know. So that's why I say when you open a restaurant kind of business, do not think that you can be rich overnight, even though maybe you have like crazy, busy night or opening week or opening month or first year you're doing great. That still will not make you rich just because, for example, you are super busy today, and which means you're gonna buy more inventory for tomorrow. Otherwise, you have nothing to open for tomorrow. So when you buy inventory, you're gonna spend money. And when you're busy, you're gonna hire more people to work for you. You're gonna spend more labors. And when you're busy, people make mistakes. You're gonna have a lot of food waste. You're gonna have a lot of cost, gas, electricity, and utility stuff. So a lot of things could happen. So that's how restaurant is. Of course, restaurant can make people rich, of course, but it takes time. It takes maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, depends on the break point is. But it's hard to predict because you never know. Maybe another COVID came. Maybe some of your employees not doing their job as they're supposed to do, and then you're losing customers. So there's a lot of things you gotta care about. And the more people you hire, and the more drama you're gonna have, and it requires a lot of leadership, communications, and your management skills. So I would say restaurant business is really tough, man. If you're a small family who wants to start a business, I would say stay away from restaurant as much as possible, unless you have a lot of liquid cash or you have a huge family can be your backup, can help you, or your dad had opened a restaurant, or your family been opening a restaurant for years, you have a lot of experience and resources. Then that's another story. But anyway, so we decide to sell that business, right? So we decide to sell that business. I am pretty involved with Chinese communities. So there's a lot of Chinese restaurant owners I know that they've sold business before. So how they sold business was like post on Facebook or post locally, Chinese communities. Or I didn't want to do that because that's not a very professional way to give your business a good price. So I didn't want to do that. So me and my wife decided to find a professional business broker to help us to start from beginning and how much our business is valued and how much we could sell. I feel like that way it's more secure and more accurate, and I just think it's more professional way that to do that legal wise, and we don't have to worry about getting sued or anything. But still, we got sued down the road, but that's another story. But so obviously you gotta pay the business broker the commissions. We paid was I forgot what the percentage is. It was 12% or 13%. I forgot, but they have a limit. So the minimum amount is 15 grand. So anything above that will take as percentage. So if the percentage, for example, if the percentage of the selling price is lower than 15 grand, so the business broker will get paid at jump up to 15 grand. If the business sold price of the percentage is higher than the 15,000, and which means they're gonna get the higher price percentage wise. It's pretty fair. But our selling price was right after the percentage was kind of low, a little bit lower than 15 grand. So I paid him 15 grand, which is okay. I still pretty satisfied with the selling price. Talking about finding that buyers, that was a miracle, I think, because we started selling in January and it took us months, and we had a few buyers and potential buyers, but it didn't work out. And during the whole process, I need to update my numbers, all the reports, sales, cost, and tax returns, all this kind of stuff. Report, send it to my brokers, and my broker update the price, everything. And I think it was in July, and the broker was telling me there's a potential buyer. He's very interested. I was happy, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, it's probably another guy who just hopping around and ask a few questions and disappear. That's it. So, but that one day, my employee called off, so I have to go in to cover them. So I was there, and this customer came in. He bought a couple stuff, a couple teas and frozen yogurt. And then he started talking to me, asking me how's the sales, how's the business, and the business name, why you started this business, that kind of things. I had a feeling, hey, this is a potential buyer trying to sneaky in my business, trying to get an inside information from my business. So I was like, well, I knew he's a potential buyer, but I didn't say that. I just say, well, it's a good business, like I really don't want to sell it if I don't have to move. Yes, because we have small family, all my family members are not around, and it's really hard to balance family and business. As we're moving to another city, this is not gonna work out. So that's the only reason why we're selling it. So I was playing smart. So after that, and the second day, the broker called me, hey, the buyer he wants to buy it. I was like, great. And my broker said he wants to buy it as soon as he can. He doesn't want to take forever. So I said, wow, that's great. That's exactly what I wanted. So and we got business sold within a month, I think, and we closed it in early August, and that was quick. And then he paid half of it upfront, and the other half was just like I gave him a good benefits, which is he paid over 3 years, breakdown monthly for the second half. So he paid me off in 3 years, and that helps him a lot, so he can have more cash to start business with, to operate the business. But yes, like I mentioned before, we did get a lawsuit after the selling was a couple months later, and I think he regretted. He regretted, and the reason why he regretted is he never had restaurant business experience before, and him and his wife and was just kind of, like have the energy to start a business. Oh, this is a good business. Let's invest in that business, and my wife can operate. It's an easy operation and stuff like that. And 2 months later, they realized, oh, it's not as easy as they thought, and they've been losing customers because they changed the business name, they changed the whole setup, everything. They spent tons of money to do some renovation stuff, which I told them not to, because it's not gonna help you anywhere. Only gonna make you spend more money into that business. You just keep whatever I had to start with, and you can do upgrade down the road. Slowly invest in the business, not just put a lot of money at the beginning. That's not a very smart idea. So he didn't listen. He 2 months later he regretted, and he started trying to find the problem, saying I was lying about the business, the number it was fake, and I promise you everything was real, because that's why we go through a business broker. The business broker, they verify everything before they show to the potential buyers. So we have nothing to worry. And the buyer contacted the broker saying the seller was lying, and the broker literally said, well, we did all the verification, so everything is accurate, everything is true, there's no lying here. You decide to buy, and that's on you. And plus another thing, besides my business broker, he has a contract, a purchasing agreement. I also hired my own business attorney to came up with two different purchasing agreement. One is for the business itself. The other one is to protect the financing part of the money. The second half, I give him the financing option. The second contract is directly related with that. So that really protect me from all around. There's no way he can sue me with any reason. So yeah, so with all three different agreements, one from my business broker, two from my business attorney. So that really helped me to protect myself and to getting sued from him. He tried. He contacted his attorney. He wrote me a letter and email and whatever, saying it's a fault of business, and he sued me for all the costs, and plus I pay him back all the money, plus I have to pay him in additional like 40 grand or something. I was like, you crazy, man? Are you crazy? So my attorney wrote a official letter to his attorney, and after that, and he just texted me one message saying that you lucky get a good attorney. Bye, good luck. That's it, and he gave up. So I was saying, I told him, I am the only one that hoping you have a successful business, because you still owe me money. I want you to be successful so that you can pay me back within 3 years. But he doesn't believe that. He thinks that I trying to screw him up, trying to lie to him, trying to make him bad. I didn't want to do that. I'm not like that stupid. So after 2 years, he bought the business, and I think it was last month I heard that they finally shut the door, closed the business, which is sad. I started that business from scratch and prepared everything. But now I think back, we're lucky. We started with a low cost and operated pretty well, and sold it in a very good price, and we made a lot of profits from that. And plus it's a fair price. It's a good business. And just because they didn't know how to operate a restaurant, and they really kind of damage the business, and they have to shut the door. To answer your questions, that even they close the business, they still have to pay me back no matter what. They still have to pay me back, because that was written on the contract that no matter what, the business is successful or not successful, nothing to do with the money they own to me. So they're still paying me every month, which is pretty good. It's a passive income for 3 years, and I know he doesn't want it to, but he has no choice. Yeah. So 2025 is coming. I know a lot of people wants to start a new business in 2025. If you really want to do business, I recommend you to think again and or to have more preparations. And if you have any questions regarding opening a bubble tea shop, coffee shop, frozen yogurt shop, ice cream shop, or even a formal, restaurant. I was a big restaurant. I'm not gonna mention the name, but it's a big restaurant, nationwide franchise, and I was a general manager. So I managed there 3 years. So I have a lot of knowledge about restaurant business. So if you wanted to open a restaurant businesses in 2025, please leave a comment or contact me. If you have any questions, I would love to help you with no charge, no charge. I'm not gonna. This is not something I interested to make money of, but I just want to help because I feel like I've been in restaurant business for 10 years. I have a lot of things to share regarding management, leadership, inventory control, cost control, and customer service. Different type of restaurants. Like if you have drive-through, if you have ice cream, you have your bubble tea, you have Chinese food, Korean food, Japanese food, American food, whatever. So it's a different concepts, and you have different styles to manage the business to make sure you're successful. So for me, I think I operated a good business because I was able to sell it in a very good price. I still very happy about it. So 2025 is here. If you want to start a business, go ahead because do not work for someone else if you don't have to. That's just a job. Job is job. It's just over broke. If you can work for yourself, please do it. Of course, you've heard if you start a restaurant, it's like you buying yourself another job. Yes, that's totally true, but it's still different than working for someone else. You're still working for yourself. The more, the better you're doing your job, the more money comes in. So that's the difference between you work for someone else. However, if you down the road you can be really really successful with your restaurant, of course you don't have to work anymore. You can just be a big boss and over franchise and make money off of the franchise fee. That's it. So at the beginning, it's not easy. Remember, keep your dream. And if you have a dream in business, if you have a dream wants to do business in restaurant industry, you can do it, but make sure you do your own research and think again and again. Thank you for watching, and wish you all have a happy new year.